Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare wheat pennies. These classic coins hold an incredible history, and some are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest varieties, their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're going back more than a century to uncover the fascinating story and hidden value behind the 1917 wheat penny. Now, this isn't just any penny. This coin is over 100 years old, and it carries more than just monetary value. It carries American history, mystery, and for some lucky collectors, it carries a massive fortune. Yes, what looks like an old copper coin covered in dust could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So stick with me, because we're about to explore what makes this humble 1917 wheat penny such a valuable piece of numismatic gold. Let's start with a little background. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, and who better than Honest Abe? From 1909 to 1958, these pennies featured two stalks of wheat on the reverse side, giving them their nickname, wheatbacks. The design was simple, elegant, and has become iconic in the world of coin collecting. Now fast forward to 1917. America was deep in change. The country had just entered World War I. Technology was advancing, and the U.S. Mint was still producing these beautiful wheat pennies from 95% copper, with the remaining 5% a mix of tin and zinc. But not all 1917 pennies were created equal. Most were struck and sent into circulation, worn down by decades of transactions and forgotten in drawers or buried in the earth. But a tiny fraction, very rare examples, survived with errors, striking variations, and in pristine condition. And those are the coins we're talking about today. Let's dive into the reasons why the 1917 wheat penny can be worth so much. First up, mint marks and locations. There are three types of 1917 wheat pennies: no mint mark, Philadelphia Mint; D, mint mark, Denver Mint; S, mint mark, San Francisco Mint. All three can have collectible value. But the real treasures come from rarity, condition, and errors. And let me tell you, some 1917 pennies have it all. Let's talk errors, because that's where this coin gets incredibly exciting. Point one of the most famous and valuable errors for this year is the 1917 double die obverse. This error occurred when the coin's design was stamped twice onto the die, slightly misaligned. The result? The lettering, particularly in God We Trust, Liberty, and the date 1917, shows a very noticeable doubling. This isn't a subtle mistake. Even with the naked eye, you can see the doubling clearly. Collectors go wild for this because it's not just a small blemish, it's a dramatic, visible error that makes the coin stand out instantly. Then there's strike quality. Some 1917 wheat pennies were struck with such crisp detail that the individual lines in Lincoln's beard or the texture in the wheat stalks are fully visible. Combine that with an error, and you've got a 1 in a million coin. Next comes condition, and this is absolutely critical. Most 1917 pennies today are heavily worn. After all, they've been through more than 100 years of use. But a few have survived in near-perfect shape, never circulated, never scratched, and still holding their full original luster. These are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and they receive a mint state, MS, grade. Now, here's the magic. When a double die error penny from 1917 is found in a mint state condition, the value skyrockets. Imagine you're looking through a box of old coins passed down from a relative or found at a garage sale. You spot a wheat penny from 1917. At first glance, it just looks old. But something about the lettering catches your eye. It looks thicker, doubled, especially around the words "In God We Trust." You check the coin's surface, smooth, no major dings, nice detail. You decide to get it graded. Then the news hits you. It's a genuine 1917 double die obverse, in mint state condition. And that one little penny you nearly ignored? That single cent. It turns out it's worth a staggering $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. $85,000. For a single penny. That's why collectors love this hobby. It's not just about coins, it's about discoveries, forgotten treasures, and the thrill of finding history hiding in plain sight. So, what should you do next? Start checking your change. Open that old coin jar. Go through your inherited collections. Look for wheat pennies dated 1917. Examine them closely. Look for doubling in the text. And if you find anything suspicious, get it checked out professionally, because you never know. That old coin sitting in a drawer might just be your key to something incredible. Top 2, we're diving deep into one of the most recognizable yet misunderstood coins in American history, the 1941 wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like just another old coin. After all, wheat pennies are common, right? Well, here's the surprise. Some rare versions of the 1941 wheat penny have fetched life-changing amounts of money, and one in particular has sold for a truly jaw-dropping price. So don't blink, because you just might be sitting on a coin that could be worth a fortune. Let's begin with the basics. The Lincoln wheat cent, or wheat penny, was minted from 1909 until 1958. On the front of the coin, we see the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse side, two stalks of wheat arch along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Simple, bold, and iconic. In 1941, the U.S. Mint produced these pennies in huge quantities. It was a time when America was emerging from the Great Depression and preparing for its entrance into World War II. Millions of these coins were made in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. Now you might be thinking, if so many were made, how could a 1941 penny be rare or valuable? Here's the twist. It's not about how many were made. It's about how few survived in perfect condition, and how even fewer were struck with minting errors that make collectors go wild. Let's talk about what to look for. First up, condition. Most 1941 pennies were heavily circulated. They went through decades of hands, cash registers, and piggy banks. So finding one today with no scratches, no wear, and full original luster is incredibly rare. These coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. If your 1941 wheat penny is graded MS 65 or higher, mint state, it's already something special. Add in an error, and that value can skyrocket. Now, let's get into the errors and rarities. This is where the real excitement begins. Point one of the most famous errors is the 1941 double die obverse. This happens when the coin is struck twice with a slight misalignment, causing the letters and numbers on the front of the coin to appear doubled. It's especially noticeable in the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1941. This isn't a small difference. You can see the doubling clearly, even without a magnifying glass. That kind of error makes the coin one of a kind, and collectors absolutely love that. Another rare error involves the repunched mint marks, commonly found on the 1941 D and 1941 S coins. Back then, mint marks were hand-punched into the dies. That left room for human error. In some cases, the letter D or S was punched more than once, creating a visible overlap. These RPM, repunched mint mark, errors are a hot topic in the coin world, and the more dramatic the doubling, the higher the value. There are even off-center strike errors, where the coin was struck off balance, resulting in part of the design being cut off. If you have one of those, especially with the date still visible, you could be holding something very valuable. And don't forget about planchet errors, where the coin blank was improperly prepared. These can lead to coins being thinner than usual, missing details, or showing unusual coloring or texture. So now picture this. You're flipping through an old collection you inherited, or maybe sorting through coins you picked up at a flea market. You come across a 1941 penny. Something about it catches your eye. The lettering looks slightly off, the details sharper than normal, and the coin gleams like it just came from the mint. You decide to send it in to be graded. Weeks later, you get the results. It's a 1941 double die obverse, in mint state 66 condition. That's when the jaw-dropping part happens. You find out that this tiny copper coin, worth just 1 cent when it was made, is now worth a mind-blowing $83,000. Yes. Let me say that again, just so it sinks in. $83,000. For a penny. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just a hobby. It's an adventure, a mystery, and a treasure hunt all rolled into one. You never know when a small, forgotten coin can change your life. Here's what you need to do right now. Check your change. Look in your drawers, your old boxes, your childhood piggy banks. Find those wheat pennies. If you see one from 1941, take a close look. Check for doubling. Look at the mint mark. Inspect its condition. And if something looks unique, don't ignore it. Get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service, because that penny could be more than just a piece of history. It could be your golden ticket. Top 3, we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1945 wheat penny. It may be small, it may be old, and it may look like just another copper coin. But hidden among the millions minted that year are a few rare gems, coins so valuable, so mysterious, that they've become legends in the numismatic world. Now here's a question. What if that 1-cent coin sitting in your drawer is secretly worth a small fortune? Stick with me, because we're about to uncover everything you need to know about the 1945 wheat penny, its design, its hidden errors, why it's so special, and how to tell if yours could be worth an unbelievable amount of money. Let's rewind. The clock to 1945. World War II had just come to an end. American soldiers were returning home. The nation was rebuilding. And in the middle of it all, the U.S. Mint continued its job of producing coins for everyday use. In that one single year, 1945, more than 1 billion wheat pennies were struck across 3 mints: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. That's right, over a billion. So naturally, you might think these coins are common, and you'd be right. Most 1945 pennies are extremely common. They're worth just a few cents in average condition. But don't be fooled, because here's where things get very interesting. Among those billions of coins, a tiny number were minted with striking errors, unusual flaws that occurred during production. And these coins, when paired with excellent condition, have become some of the most valuable wheat pennies ever discovered. Let's talk about the types of errors collectors are obsessed with. First, we have the double die error. This is one of the most dramatic and sought-after errors in coin collecting. It happens when the coin die, the stamp used to press the design into the coin, is engraved twice by mistake, creating a clear, visible doubling on the surface of the coin. You can often see this in the text, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the year 1945. These doubled letters are bold, unmistakable, and incredibly valuable. Next, we've got off-center strike errors. This occurs when the coin blank is misaligned during minting, so the design appears shifted to one side, and sometimes part of it is even missing. The more off-center it is, while still showing the date, the more valuable it becomes. Another one to look out for is the repunched mint mark. Back in the 1940s, mint marks were punched into the dies by hand. Sometimes, a mint worker would punch it slightly off, then punch it again, creating what we now call an RPM, repunched mint mark. On a 1945 D or 1945 S penny, this error can add significant value. And here's one that's a collector's dream: the transitional planchet error. Most 1945 pennies were struck on a bronze planchet made of copper, tin, and zinc. But every once in a while, a penny was mistakenly struck on a different type of metal, like a steel planchet left over from 1943 wartime production. These mistakes are exceedingly rare, but if you find one, you're looking at a penny that is historically priceless. Now let's talk about condition. The value of any rare coin skyrockets when it's in mint state condition, meaning the coin has never been in circulation and has no scratches, dents, or fading. These coins retain their original red shine and crisp detail. Coins like this are graded on a scale up to MS 70. A 1945 penny with a rare error, graded MS 65 or higher, becomes a collector's dream. So imagine this. You're digging through your grandparents' old coin jar. Or maybe you're checking a roll of pennies from the bank, just for fun. You spot a 1945 wheat penny. It looks bright, clean. Something about the lettering catches your eye. It looks doubled. You hold it up to the light, and your heart skips a beat. Could it be? You send it off to be professionally graded. The results come back, and it's confirmed. You found a 1945 double die wheat penny in mint state condition, and then the price tag drops. That one little coin, smaller than a bottle cap, lighter than a feather, is worth an astonishing $81,000. Yes, you heard me right. $81,000. For a penny. That's the kind of story that fuels the passion of every coin collector. The idea that treasure is still out there, hiding in plain sight. That history is sitting in our pockets and drawers and jars, waiting to be discovered. So what should you do right now? Simple. Go search. Pull out that old change. Grab a magnifying glass. Check every 1945 penny you can find. Look at the lettering. Look at the mint mark. Pay attention to the color, the shape, the detail. And if anything looks off, get it checked out. Because you just never know. You could be holding the next great numismatic discovery in your hand. Top 4, we're talking about a coin that often flies under the radar, but when the right conditions come together, it can be worth a staggering amount of money. We're diving into the world of the 1947 wheat penny, and trust me, this is one story you'll want to listen to all the way through. What seems like a simple, old penny could actually be a collector's dream worth thousands, even if it's been sitting quietly in a drawer for decades. Let's start with the basics. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was produced from 1909 to 1958. The front features the classic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse displays two wheat stalks curving around the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's a design every coin enthusiast knows well, but what makes the 1947 version so special? Well, in 1947, the United States was adjusting to post-World War II life. The war was over, and the country was entering a new era. But even during this time of change, one thing remained constant: the U.S. Mint's production of Lincoln wheat cents. That year, they were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, with a D mint mark; San Francisco, with an S mint mark. Millions were made, and most were used in everyday transactions, lost to time, or worn down after years of USS. Oh, why are we even talking about the 1947 penny? Aren't they common? Yes, most of them are. But some are anything but ordinary. What sets certain 1947 wheat pennies apart is a combination of rare minting errors, exceptional condition, and a little bit of numismatic luck. These are the coins that turn heads, spark bidding wars, and make collectors stop in their tracks. Let's dig into the kinds of errors that can make a 1947 penny a true treasure. First up is the famous double die error. This error occurs when the coin is struck twice with a misalignment, causing a visible doubling of the design. On a 1947 penny, you might see this on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even on the numbers in the date, 1947. The doubling is bold, and once you spot it, it's unforgettable. Collectors go wild for double die errors because they're highly visible and extremely rare. Another valuable error is the off-center strike. Imagine a coin where the design is pushed too far to one side, leaving part of the surface blank. That's what happens when the blank planchet isn't properly centered during minting. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially if the date is still fully visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there's the repunched mint mark, known in collector circles as an RPM. Back in 1947, mint marks were punched into the dies by hand. Sometimes, a mint worker would hit the die more than once, accidentally creating a double or even triple image of the D or S mint mark. These small details might seem insignificant, but they can boost the coin's value tremendously. We also have die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors, all of which can turn a regular penny into something collectors are desperate to get their hands on. But wait, condition is just as important as the error. If you're lucky enough to have a 1947 penny with an error and it's in mint state condition, now we're talking serious value. A coin in mint state means it has never been used in circulation. It shows no signs of wear. The luster, the color, the details, they're all perfectly preserved. These coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC and given a score from 1 to 70. Anything over MS 65 is considered rare and highly collectible, especially if an error is present. Now imagine this. You're going through a jar of old change. You find a 1947 wheat penny. At first, it looks like just another old coin. But then you take a closer look. The D mint mark looks strange, like it was punched twice. You pull out a magnifying glass, and there it is. A repunched mint mark, clear as day. You send it in to be graded. And the results come back. Mint state 66. RPM confirmed. And then the magic happens. You find out that your 1947 wheat penny, yes, the one that cost just 1 cent, is now worth a mind-blowing $79,000. Yes, you heard that right. $79,000. That's the power of knowledge, patience, and a little bit of luck. And that's why coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a hunt. It's an adventure. It's a chance to find hidden value where no one else thought to look. Because even the most ordinary-looking coin could carry an extraordinary story. Oh, what should you do next? Start looking. Dig out those old coin jars. Sort through those rolls of pennies. Examine each 1947 wheat penny you come across. Look for doubling. Look for odd mint marks. Pay attention to the smallest details. You never know, you might just stumble onto something that turns your spare change into serious cash. Top 5. We're zooming in on a fascinating piece of American history. The 1949 United States wheat penny. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny. After all, the wheat penny design was minted for decades and produced in staggering numbers. But stick with me, because the 1949 wheat penny is a rare treasure chest for collectors, and one in excellent condition, or with the right kind of error, can be worth a jaw-dropping amount. If you're a coin lover, listen carefully and enjoy this deep dive into why this humble penny deserves your attention. The wheat penny, officially called the Lincoln cent, features the timeless image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and two stylized wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the back. The design was first introduced in 1909, making it the longest-running cent design in U.S. history. By 1949, these coins were still a staple of everyday life, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now, you might think a coin minted over 70 years ago is just old change, but here's the kicker. While millions of 1949 wheat pennies were produced, the vast majority circulated heavily, accumulating wear and losing detail over time. That's where rarity and condition come into play. If you happen to find a 1949 wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're already off to a great start. These coins have the original copper-red luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, a true collector's dream. But even better? Some 1949 pennies carry unique characteristics or errors that make them priceless. One of the most sought-after anomalies is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice, but slightly misaligned, resulting in a doubling effect that's usually visible on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date itself. Imagine the magic of holding a coin where the numbers or letters seem to leap off the surface. This rare mistake immediately sets a coin apart and skyrockets its value. Another exciting category is the off-center strike, a coin where the image is noticeably shifted to one side, leaving a blank spot on the other. The more dramatic the offset, and the more intact the date remains, the more collectors crave it. These coins feel like imperfect little marvels, a glimpse into the complex minting process. Then there's the repunched mint mark, where the D or S mint marks were stamped twice on the die. These mint marks may look doubled or blurred and can add a lot of intrigue and value to your penny. But what really thrills collectors is a combination of error and condition. A 1949 wheat penny featuring a double die or repunched mint mark that's also in mint state condition can fetch a premium price that's truly eye-watering. Imagine this. You're sorting through a box of old coins and spot a shiny 1949 penny that looks a little different. Upon closer inspection, you notice a doubling in the lettering. You send it to a professional grading service, and it comes back in near-perfect condition with a confirmed double die error. The coin you casually picked up could now be worth an extraordinary amount. And here's the grand reveal. A 1949 wheat penny like this can command a price of $77,000. Yes, you heard that right. $77,000 for a penny. This isn't just a story about money, though. It's a reminder that history, art, and chance all come together in the world of coin collecting. Each coin tells a story, holds a moment frozen in time, and can surprise us when we least expect it. So if you have some old coins lying around, don't just toss them aside. Take a closer look. Maybe even get a magnifying glass out. That 1949 wheat penny you find might just be the key to your next big discovery.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel to get more information about rare coins in future.